a liberated mind, you sort of really emphasize psychological flexibility as a
Yeah.
key there to living a meaningful life. I wonder if we could start there and just give us a sense, what is psychological flexibility?
Well, I've spent 40 years trying to kind of hack the human mind to get into the smallest set of processes that do the most good in the most areas for the most people. And we've done a pretty good job of it because we know that psychological flexibility, just the way it's normally classically presented, will handle about 55% of all the studies that have ever asked the question, not just what works, but why. And I can speak to that study and how we came to that conclusion. But lately, we've been expanding it a little bit to get from that 55% to more like 95%. And I think I can do it in a single sentence that I can answer your question,
Mm,
which uh, if you learn to be more cognitively and emotionally open and come consciously into the present moment in a way that allows you to attend to what's going on in a flexible, fluid, and voluntary way. And then you use those skills to focus on what's deeply important to you, what your deepest values are, and how to put those into habits. And then if you extend that to your relationships and you take care of your body, you're doing about 95% of everything we know about how change happens and how to live an empowered life in any area you can name, from mental health to dealing with physical disease to social justice and social wellness. And that's an empirical fact. And so it's wonderful that we're there. And whether you call it ACT or not, I don't care. But learn what the processes are and figure out a way to put them in your life.
yeah. What would that, it's a bit of a strange question, but what would that look like in a moment for a person? Like, can you give us an example of how that might actually translate or how we would observe it in someone?
Sure. If you slow down what I just said in that long sentence, there's about 8 things there where you
Mm,
need to be more flexible. And flexible means being able to vary or change in a way that fit the opportunities of the moment and that allow you to build your repertoire, build your skills, build out your life in a way that fits the values-based goals that you have. And when I say values-based goals, I mean not just the short-term things of making a buck or getting likes for your YouTube channel, but what it's really about. What do you want to do with that? In the sense of what brings meaning and purpose to your life in this deepest way when it's just between you and the person in the mirror. So, what it looks like a life that's more flexible rather than rigid. And flexible, even in this area of flexibility itself. There's times not to be emotionally open, for example. What an example be? Well, if you're an ambulance driver and you've got to respond to people who are on the street and some people are injured so badly that they're not going to be able to be saved and they're saying, help me, help me, help me. You're going to have to find the place in you that allows you to look towards the person over there who may not be speaking, but you can save. There's so many situations in life where you need even the rules I'm giving of being more emotionally open in the present, focused on your values, extending it to your relationships and your body. Even that, there are times when what you're doing looks like things that violate that, but they don't really, because what they're doing is giving you the skills to be in the present moment and live a life that's whole and free and is purpose driven. Peace of mind and purpose is what we are born yearning for, along with the
mm,
little elements of it, making a difference in people's lives, being able to be yourself fully. And, if you can figure out a way to do that, no matter how much you figure out a way to do that, there's more that you have to learn. And I'm
mm,
just turned 76, and I can tell you, I'm just getting started. And probably everybody listening to me, that's true. Till your
mm.
last breath, you'll be expanding out the territory and you'll never be finished. You're not going to get a prize at the end. There's not a blue ribbon. You're never finished, but you can get better. You can grow. And when you do, doors open up, life opens up, things happen, and you're able to take advantage of opportunities as they occur. So it's not, some sort of blue ribbon or, Goldilocks or Pollyanna. We're not talking here
Mm.
about, a magic ring or the secret or, we're just talking about you being you, fully, wholly you, and living a life worth living. And you say, hey, I'm stuck. Here's what well, then there's specifics because those 8 things I give you show up in a gazillion different ways to fit that moment and then that moment. And think of it like if you were playing a game. I was just watching the Cincinnati Open. I was blessed to be able to get some free tickets and watch some world-class tennis players. And they used to in sports coaching use imagery work. You'd try to groove over and over and over again how you'd respond to the opponent. They've stopped doing that in sports, at least the best coaches, and here's why. Your opponent knows it and they'll give you something you've never seen before. So, what if instead we learn how to get our feet on the ground, our body centered over our feet, our eyes open, and be able to take that next ball that's coming at us over the net and be able to do something with it that fits what it is that we're trying to accomplish there. And if you say, well, what's the formula? What's it going to look like? I'd say, no, 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 be careful. Be careful. That's the part of your mind that wants to know that answer. And that evolutionarily recent part of you, that's only a few million years old, is far less wise than parts of you that are 1,000 times older. And so let's use the whole of you, including your intuition, your skill, what's grooved, your felt sense, the things that you are born to be. You've got certain things that are just part of your birthright. I mean, you're the social primate, dude. You're the one who was born yearning to cooperate and be part of a group. So get out of your own way and learn how to show up and be fully you and hit that next ball over the net.
Yeah, it's funny. The rules of psychological flexibility themselves have to be approached flexibly. It's sort of
Yeah.